Alright, this is Journey to Luzviminsao episode 1. I guess although it would should have been better if I actually created a pilot episode where I am discussing Luzviminsao, but nevertheless, this is an episode of Journey to Luzviminsao. Well, basically a video version, I guess, of a more updated where you can see what is actually happening. So, plurality marker. This is in this episode we will be discussing the plurality markers, possible plurality markers, or how rather this means how will implement its plurals. So first disclaimer, most of the things that I know about languages are from mostly written sources, and it is often the case that there are no diacritics, hence I don't exactly know how many of them are actually pronounced. Second, I'm not an expert in many languages that I will be using, hence some grammatical mistakes may occur, though most examples are from books or from literature. I'm not an expert in any particular language except maybe Tagalog. I'm just passionate about these languages and because I want to make Luzviminsao a reality. This is why the language communities and community is important because these can only happen and be effective through collaborative effort. So with that said, so let us recap on what is actually a candidate. A candidate, generally speaking, must be found in at least two or more languages of differing branches. So for example, there is a similarity between Tagalog and Ilocano that can qualify as a candidate. However, if there is a similarity between Cebuano and Tagalog, that will not qualify as a candidate because Tagalog and Cebuano both belong to the Central Philippine Languages branch and to the more great to the greater Central Philippine Languages branch. So it doesn't. So the reason for this is to make it more equitable and because by having a more diverse you can have a more diverse range rather if we kind of put the criteria and also to increase the probability of our candidate appearing in other languages that we may have not investigated. So because if we just put candidates that are common on that basis alone without restrictions, then surely Tagalog and Cebuano will dominate because they are related languages. Hence, there are likely more similarities than there is to say Tagalog and Ilocano. Just those like that. So further, however, in cases of grammar, what is called models can apply. These models are found in specific languages, but when applied, is going to make Luzviminsao more equitable. So an example of this model will actually be discussed in this video. So how will Luzviminsao do its plurals? So there will be likely three ways. Mga base plurality, tab-based plurality, and reduplication. In this video, we will be discussing the mga-based plurality. So, mga-based plurality is employed in almost all languages belonging to greater Central Philippine languages. It is probably safe to say that when combined, the number of speakers of such is more or less 50%, if not more, of the Philippines. And only the speakers of the languages belonging to GCP are populous, the number of languages in this branch too. So there is Tagalog, Cebuano, Hiligaynon, Bicol Central, Waray, Maguindanao, Mansaka, etc. However, it is not enough for it to qualify as a Luzon candidate by itself. But since Agutaynan, which belongs to Calamian languages, also uses this, it now qualifies. So, orthography, just to get this aside, in spite of the fact that mga is written as mga in Filipino, this means how at least we'll be using this because it is how it is pronounced. And historically speaking, it is how it was written too. The same is also true or how it is in other languages like Tausug, and Pionon. So here is an example from Webonary for Tausug. And you can see here that they are using the full form of mga rather than the shortened form. So, adyali pagkain mga anak mo, prepare a meal for your children. So, anyway, the syntax of mga, the plural marker mga precedes before the noun it modifies. So, mga plus noun. So, ang mga aso, ang mga iro. So, mga aso. Those are forms of usage that you will hear in other languages. So, model aklanan. While mga as mentioned already qualifies as a candidate to Luzviminsao, using aklanan as a model can make Luzviminsao more equitable as it will include Kapampangan. How so? We will discuss it. So let us first analyze how it works in Kapampangan. So Kapampangan uses ding, deng, ring, or reng to mark its common noun plural sense asu, dog, is ding or ding asu, dogs. The difference between ding and deng is the latter is more specific. Deng is more specific than ding. So deng is more or less the equivalent for English, whereas ding, so you can think of this as a. While D, while the D and R variants is based on what precedes it. So this is like how it works in Tagalog, like din and rin, tito, rito. The same rule actually is present in Kapampangan. Well, actually, not just in Kapampangan and Tagalog, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. So, Kapampangan syntax. Unlike those in GCP, like say Tagalog, Kapampangan plural markers excludes its common marker ing or ning neng when it is used. So, paglaway kuring kwentong Kapampangan is roughly naghahanap ako ng mga kwentong Kapampangan in Tagalog. So, as you can see here, even though reng is mga equivalent, we can not find nang equivalent in Kapampangan, which is ning and or neng, because it cannot be used. It would be ungrammatical to be so to use so. So how will Akyano or Aklanon rather make it more equitable? Like other GCP languages, Aklanon also uses mga hens, isda, fish, is mga isda, fish, or the plural. I think that is rather bad example. So let's just I guess use biktima, biktima, mga biktima. Just like in Tagalog. So anyway, by the way, the topic marker is interestingly not ang, unlike most of its central Philippine languages, sibling but ro or do. So in Tagalog it is ang, in Cebuano it is ang, in Hiligaynon it is ang, in Bicol central it is an. So although they use so too. So anyway, so ang biktima, when translating to Akyanon is a raw victim. Simple. So model, aklanan. Unlike GCP where it includes its common topic marker, it would be ungrammatical in Aklanon too. So hence, ang mga biktima in as so many languages, sibling languages, is not raw mga biktima in Aklanon. But guess what? It is wrong biktima. Yes, similar to Kapampangan. And this is why Aklanon can be a model for Luzviminsao. So, comparison, pro biktima, the victim, is wrong biktima, the victims rather, in Aklanon. So, in Kapampangan, that would be ing biktima, then victim, then deng biktima, the victims. And on a more technical matters, Kapampangan or rather Aklanon doesn't have any distinguishing particle to differentiate what specific something specific as to a more generic one, unlike Pampangan with its deng ending. So, how will we apply this to Luzviminsao? So, aso, like in how it will work in many languages in Central, even Greater Central Philippines will be we will be using mga to. However, assuming that so is the common topic more in Luzviminsao, it would be ungrammatical to use it with mga. So aso would not be so mga aso, but rather it would kind of be deng aso. So it kind of encapsulates the thought between in Aklanon and Kapampangan. So that is kind of the model that we were talking about. This is feature is just found in Akladon. However, when applied, it can make more this means more equitable. So, conclusion for this video. Our languages share a common heritage which we can utilize in making a truly Filipino national language that not only can help us understand each other, but ourselves too, as fragments of our history remains in other languages.